Welcome back to Euro Football Daily. With La Liga, Serie A and the Premier League back on our screens, there are a number of players who are keen to prove themselves once again after experiencing disappointing campaigns so far. Here are 10 of them. 10. Junior Firpo. With roughly 10 games left of the La Liga season, the title race in the Spanish top flight is on a knife's edge. With Real Madrid and Barcelona slipping up before the league was suspended back in March, players from both sides have had to re-enter the campaign ready to hit top form almost instantly. And considering his first season at the Camp Nou has been quiet so far, Junior Firpo must be especially determined to play a vital role in Barca's run-in. The 23-year-old has struggled for game time since his €18 million move from Real Betis last summer, making more than 3 league appearances in a row just once, with former manager Ernesto Valverde reportedly questioning his attitude during training. And his productivity on the pitch has dropped significantly. He's mustered no assists so far this campaign compared to the 4 in 18-19, despite now playing for the league's top scorers. And while he's producing roughly the same amount of key passes as he did last term, his expected assists per 90 has dropped from 0.12 to 0.04, unacceptable at a club which requires big attacking contributions from its fullbacks. With reports suggesting Firpo could be used as a make-weight in a deal for Inter's Lautaro Martinez, he'll need a stormy end to the season to guarantee his future at the Camp Nou. 9. Carlos Solare. Down the coast in Valencia, attacking output has also been an issue this term. Albert Soledades' side are taking just 9.2 shots a match, the second worst record in the division, and almost 2 shots less than bottom place Espanyol, and only 2 players have scored more than 5 goals. Top marksman Maxi Gomez's record of 5 goals in 15 appearances since mid-October is mediocre, and his strike partner Rodrigo has scored just twice all season, although expected goals suggest he should have more by now, and he's also delivered an impressive 7 assists. The real worry, however, is the form of attacking midfielder Carlos Solare. One of the more exciting prospects to come through the club's ranks in recent years, Solare was showing improvements season on season until this term, which was disrupted by injury in the early months. So far in 2019-20, he's scored twice and is yet to register an assist from the left, and when you look at his underlying numbers, it's not wholly surprising. The Spaniard is producing just 0.7 key passes per 90, down from 1.2 last season, and the worst figure of his career. The same can be said for his shots, which have dropped to 0.8 a game, and his confidence on the ball seems to have suffered in general, attempting less take-ons and passes than ever before. If Valencia are going to mount a serious push for 4th place, then Solare will need to rediscover his flair. 8. Aaron Ramsey. When Aaron Ramsey left Arsenal for Juventus in 2019, it looked like the Welshman had hit the jackpot. Out of contract at the Emirates, Ramsey was offered huge money by Juventus to make up for the lack of transfer fee, understood to be in the region of £400,000 a week, running until 2023. But so far, the Bianconeri have not seen much of a return on their investment. Ramsey only became a regular fixture in the side after the turn of the year, and his creativity has generally been stifled in Sarri's system. While 3 goals and 1 assist in just over 800 minutes from midfield is hardly disastrous, almost all of those came in the final 2 games before the league was suspended, indicative of how slow the playmaker has been in adapting to his new surroundings. Considering Ramsey is shooting and creating at only a marginally better rate than he was under Unai Emery at Arsenal, more is clearly needed from him if he wants to become a key man in Turin in the long term. 30 at the end of this year, he could prove a very expensive mistake for the Italian Giants if his performances don't pick up quickly. 7. Inaki Williams. Linked with a huge €88 million move to Manchester United just last summer, Inaki Williams is undoubtedly Athletic Bilbao's prized asset, and doesn't need to prove himself to anyone at the San Mamés. In fact, the Spanish forward hasn't missed a league game for the Basque club since April 2016, appearing in a record 146 consecutive La Liga matches, showing just how important he's been to the 4 managers who have coached him during that time. But the 26-year-old hasn't lived up to his lofty standards so far this season. The club's top goal scorer in the league last term with 13, Williams has managed just 6 in 2019-20, outscored by 33-year-old Raul Garcia, who has played fewer minutes. But perhaps more worrying is the fact that he's not been able to make up for this with production on the creative front. The Cantera graduate has failed to register an assist so far this term, while his expected goals and assists per 90 stands at 0.36, a significant drop from the 0.5 average he sustained over the previous 2 seasons. This relative lack of productivity is reflected in Athletic Club's overall performance in front of goal. Their non-penalty XG ranks them bottom of the entire division, meaning they're somewhat fortunate to have been awarded the joint most spot kicks in the league on 8. While he can't be the sole source of inspiration, it wouldn't hurt for Inaki Williams to hit his best form again, especially with a tantalising Copa del Rey final against rivals Real Sociedad also on the horizon. Who knows, a performance on that stage could put him back on the radar of Europe's top clubs. 6. Rafael Leao. Probably the harshest entry on this list, Rafael Leao has only just turned 21 and at the time of recording is yet to even reach 70 top flight appearances. But in signing him last summer for around 25 million euros and also offloading Christophe Piontek and Patrick Cutrone, AC Milan clearly have high hopes for the Portuguese striker. And aside from a 38-year-old Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he's the only recognised centre forward at the club. However, following an excellent breakout season with Lille last term, in which he scored 8 and assisted 3 in less than 1,500 Liga minutes, Leao's output has dried up in a misfiring Rossoneri outfit this season. The youngster has just 2 goals from 20 league appearances in 1920 so far, which goes some way to explaining why Stefano Pioli's side ranked joint 4th from bottom for goals scored in the Italian top flight. However, expected goals suggest Milan have been somewhat unlucky, and this also applies to Leao, who should have closer to 4 goals and 2 assists on the basis of his performances in the final third. Nevertheless, getting himself on the score sheet more often is paramount if he doesn't want to join the long list of talented players whose careers have stagnated at the San Siro. 5. Sebastian Aller. Another striker whose arrival at a new club was met with great hope last summer is Sebastian Aller. The French striker became West Ham's record signing in July 2019, joining for £36 million off the back of a stellar campaign in which he scored 15 and assisted 9 alongside Luka Jovic at Eintracht Frankfurt, contributing to a goal every 91 minutes. And while a few punters were expecting him to produce the same average in a West Ham side, still working out its identity, his form has been disappointing to say the least. Following a promising start to the season, when he averaged a goal every other game in his first 8 appearances, Aller dropped off massively from the start of October, managing just 3 strikes in his last 20 domestic games. The former Utrecht man just isn't finding the positions. While his shots per game have stayed the same as last year, his expected goals per 90 have almost halved. With West Ham deep in a relegation battle, a marked improvement in front of goal could be the difference between staying up and going down. 4. Callum Wilson. Another striker whose form could prove pivotal in the Premier League relegation run-in is Callum Wilson, who, following his best season as a professional in 18-19, has experienced a major drop-off this campaign. Last term, he notched up 14 goals and 9 assists, despite missing nearly 2 months with injury, helping keep the Cherries comfortably in the top flight. This season, it's been a different story, with Eddie Howe's side arguably looking weaker than ever before in the Premier League, and this has been reflected in Wilson's play. While his finishing ability has always served him well, he's now taking less shots per 90 than at any stage in the last 6 years, and the fact he's averaging less than a goal every 3 games matches up with this. However, there is hope. Before the league was suspended in March, the 28-year-old had found his scoring boots once more, hitting 3 goals in 6 appearances following an appalling barren run of 15 games. But unfortunately for a man who has been linked with a £50 million move to Chelsea just a year ago, Wilson's hopes of a career-defining transfer look to be in the past, regardless of whether he can fire Bournemouth to safety or not. 3. Federico Bernardeschi. The second Juventus player on this list, Federico Bernardeschi has actually been occupying similar spaces on the field to Aaron Ramsey this term, despite showcasing his best performances as a wide forward in previous seasons. Another player who has so far been wasted by Maurizio Sarri, Bernardeschi struggled to adapt to playing the number 10 role in the earlier months of the campaign, and has been stuck on the bench since the Juve manager switched to a 4-3-3 back in January. Bernardeschi's mix of pace, skill and tenacity have made him one of the most useful forwards in the Italian top flight. But while he's had his moments in Turin, he's never fully held down his place in a congested attack, with most of his appearances coming as a sub since signing from Fiorentina for €40 million in 2017. And with no goal involvements to his name this term, the 26-year-old's reputation is clearly under threat. While he remained regular for the Italy national team in qualification for the European Championships, if Bernardeschi continues to be left out for the Bianconeri side, his standing within the Azzurri setup will surely come into question, as will his future at the Allianz Stadium. However, if given the chance by Sarri, a big performance in the title run-in could help secure the relatively young forward's long-term place in a fast-aging old lady front line. 2. Cengiz Under. Still only 22, Cengiz Under has plenty of time to develop his craft as a forward, but 2019-20 hasn't been the easiest of seasons for the Turkish international, who spent a decent chunk of the early campaign injured and only really got back into the Roma first team the month before Serie was suspended. This means he ranks 16th in the Giallorossi squad for minutes played so far this term, below Henrik Mkhitaryan and Amadou Diawara, who have just 18 starts between them. And while he's completing more dribbles and putting up more key passes per 90 than at any stage in his career, the young winger is yet to provide an assist, with Lorenzo Pellegrini emphatically replacing him as the side's key creator this term. The transfer rumour mill has also linked Under away from the Italian capital, with both Juventus and Everton apparently interested and Roma keen for transfer revenue to help with their finances following the economic fallout of the global health crisis. Nevertheless, with Paulo Fonseca's side still chasing Champions League places, Under's flair will no doubt be vital for their fortunes as the season draws to a close. 1. Marco Asensio. Some of you might have plumped for Luka Jovic or Gareth Bale here, but with the Serbian striker out injured and Bale nearing his 31st birthday, we decided on a Real Madrid forward who, when the Liga was suspended, hadn't even played a match this season. Since sustaining a cruciate ligament injury in pre-season, Marco Asensio has been on the sidelines, but the delay in the campaign has in some ways been a blessing, meaning the Spaniard has the chance to make a meaningful contribution to his side's run-in. With Zinedine Zidane fielding him alongside Hazard and Benzema in a recent training match, the consensus seems to be that this is the French manager's preferred front three. This is obviously great news for Asensio, who even before his injury had seen his stock fall after contributing to just 5 goals in 30 appearances in 18-19. One of Europe's most exciting young attackers when he made his Madrid debut back in 2016, Asensio is now 24. And having spent almost an entire year on the sidelines, will need to get up to speed quickly if he wants to hold off competition from Vinicius and Rodrigo. However, if he can get close to the level that many predicted for him just a few years ago, we should be in for a real treat. So that was our 10 players fighting for their reputation, but can you think of 10 more for a part 2? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, click on screen now for more great Football Daily and Euro Football Daily content. Bye!